Wily's Wittle Wub, written by Tatsuro. Chapter 7, The Greatest Show on Earth, Part 2. So, any idea what this freak mode is yet? Protoman asked, stepping up behind Wily as he worked away at his computer. If you mean how it works or what triggers it, no. Wily replied. That's completely beyond what I can do to analyze. However, I have figured out what it does on a technical level. Really? Protoman asked, raising an eyebrow. What's that? Wily grinned widely as he began to explain. First, it amplifies the quirkiness of the personality core, adding even more violent tendencies than what my control program does, while also adding a bit of insane behavior, making them less predictable. Second, it puts the power core into overdrive, making them much stronger, faster, and less aware of physical discomfort. Anything from an itchy nose to the pain around the core, or even a limb being torn off. Finally, it takes some of that amplified energy output and uses it to overcharge the master weapon system. Cutman's blades aren't normally sharp enough to shear through the armor Mega Man has. Protoman nodded, then tilted his head. But wouldn't that burn out their systems rather quickly? Yes, Wily replied as he headed back to where Vinyl was still watching Mega Man's progress. Even if Mega Man hadn't delivered the finishing blow in both cases, they'd have shut down not long after that. Gutsman would have lasted longer than any of the others simply because he was so much bigger. He turned and smiled at Vinyl. So, who's he going after now?
I see.
Vinyl replied eagerly as she pointed to the frozen tropical area, palm trees frozen solid in the background of the icy area. Ah, Iceman! Wily replied, sitting down, unsurprised that Vinyl immediately climbed onto his head. Wonder how that cow is going to handle fighting. Protoman murmured as he watched Mega Man slip on the icy floors and attempt to maneuver through the disappearing blocks. Not long after he finished talking, he winced, his hand going briefly to his chest before he lowered it. He hadn't noticed that Vinyl had stopped watching Mega Man to look at him in concern. After a few moments, she turned back, smiling as Mega Man goes up against Iceman. Mega Man glanced around the frozen chamber. Iceman! He calls out. You need to stop this!
No!
A wail comes from a nearby snowman.
I don't wanna stop! In the open cold, I'm not afraid! I just want to stay here like this where I don't have to be afraid! And where anyone or thing that comes close to me gets frozen solid so they can't scare me!
Frowning, Mega Man leveled his buster at the snowman. Then I have to stop you, he said sadly, shooting the snowman. The snowman melted instantly and Iceman's shriek came out of the snow. He leapt upward out of the snow.
You killed my friend!
He snapped.
I made him to keep me company so I wouldn't be alone or afraid! And you killed him!
Mega Man backed up. I'm sorry. Freak mode activated. Wily's computer proclaimed. So soon? Wily asked in shock, quickly pulling up Iceman's status screen. Iceman grinned widely.
That's okay, I'm not afraid of making new friends.
Mega Man let out a sigh of relief. That's good,
It's so easy!
Iceman proclaimed, raising his arms. Two more snowmen popped out of the ground, one on either side of him.
And I can make more, and more, and more, and more!
Each time he said more, the number of snowmen doubled. Mega Man stepped back, leveling his buster, unsure what was going to happen next.
Look, friends!
Iceman shouted, pointing at Mega Man.
He seeks to kill you!
He then dove back into the snow.
Kill him first!
The snowman began to march on Mega Man, shooting waves of ice at him just like Iceman was designed to do. He did his best to dodge and shoot back. "Well, that's clever," Wily said suddenly.
What, the army of snowmen?
Protoman asked.
Seems rather cliché to me.
"Not that," Wily countered. "The main reason Freak Mode put such a strain on the Robot Master systems is the heat generated from putting the system into overdrive. But by hiding in snow, kept cool by his master weapon generating snowman, the heat sucked out of him before it can damage him." Protoman whistled.
Now that is clever.
Vinyl clapped happily as she watched the screen. Freak Mode activated. Wily's computer piped up. "What?" Wily asked, confused. "But Iceman's already... When did Mega Man get a Freak Mode?" On screen, Mega Man erupted from under a pile of snowmen, his color having changed to show he was using Super Arm. Lifting one snowman up, he glared at it.
"These snowmen are so uncute,"
he stated before hurling it at the others, taking them out like 9-pins. "How is this possible?" Wily demanded. "Mega Man wasn't hooked up when Vinyl did her dance on the keyboard."
But the Freak Mode is connected to the Master Weapon systems.
Protoman pointed out.
The Master Weapons that Mega Man's been downloading into his variable weapon system?
Wily looked up surprised. "You think he's been downloading the Freak Mode as well?"
Bits and pieces, probably.
Protoman points out.
Not enough for a Freak Mode of his own, but enough to put a single Master Weapon into overdrive.
Vinyl clapped her hooves happily as she watched Mega Man yank Iceman out of the snow, leap against the wall, and proceed to use the robot as a chisel to carve out the message, "Wily's sideburns are the biggest thing about his anatomy." Wily ground his teeth at that. "Well, we'll just have to see about how to fix that," he growled out as Mega Man and the defunct Iceman were beamed out.
"How are you going to manage that?"
Protoman asked. "Design a program to purge Mega Man of all Master Weapon related programs and hit him with it when I fight him here," Wily explained reasonably. Before too long, Vinyl was sitting in Protoman's lap to watch Mega Man go after Bomb Man. Protoman had offered to let Vinyl sit on his head, but apparently she only liked doing that to Wily. Protoman didn't really object, since he could take the time with her in his lap to brush her mane while they watched. The area Bomb Man was in presented Mega Man with no real problems, as the obstacles were rather easy for him to get past. Before long, he dropped into Bomb Man's chamber. As Mega Man dropped in, he found Bomb Man sitting in the lotus position against one wall, eyes closed.
"Bomb Man, you need to stop this destruction! People are being hurt!" "But I do this destruction for their sake."
Bomb Man countered silently. Mega Man blinked.
What? "All the world is balanced, brother,"
he said softly.
"Light and darkness, good and evil, life and death. In balance is growth, oneness, and the path to enlightenment. But the world is so full of creation. Humans build things, make things, and turn things into other things. But they have gone too far. All this creation without destruction to balance it hurts the world and humanity. We are programmed to not harm humans, or through inaction allow humans to come to harm. If I leave things as is, humanity will be grievously wounded by the imbalance, the lack of destruction. I cannot allow that to happen through inaction. and so I bring them destruction.
Mega Man could only stare in consternation.
But that's wrong!
He proclaimed, but there was a quiver of uncertainty in his voice. Bomb Man smiled softly.
Rock, I know you're afraid of the power you've been given. You gladly accepted it in order to protect humanity. But seeing us like this makes you realize you could just as easily do so, even accidentally. You don't have to intend to hurt someone, but a stray shot will shear through flesh as easily as an aimed one, and that thought gives you nightmares when in standby, doesn't it?
Mega Man shivered.
Bomb Man, why are any of you doing this?
Because Wily has shown us enlightenment.
Bomb Man explained.
A future under his rule where robots are no longer merely tools for the humans, but their equals, their fellow travelers on the path to the future. An enlightened paradise of brotherhood. Such grandeur is nearly blinding to us, who are merely tools, and we will gladly lay down our lives to make it a reality for our future brethren.
But you've always been so peaceful!
Mega Man countered.
Why? Why would you do all this? This isn't Zen!
But it is.
Bomb Man countered.
True Zen is not the absence of action. True Zen is to become one with the action, so that the line between the action and the actor vanishes. To make the line between the bombs I throw and myself vanish, the line between myself and the destruction I bring vanish.
He slowly stood up.
But I have harmed no humans, Rock. Before I threw a single bomb, I ensured no one would be hurt by it, and used successive bombs to make humans flee before destroying buildings. And now this sector of the city is empty, so I can become one with my purpose.
His chest compartment popped open and a high-pitched whine could be heard.
Bomb Man!
Mega Man shouted out.
Don't do it!
Goodbye, brother.
Bomb Man said happily.
For your sake, for our sake, for the sake of our future, I bring you destruction.
He tilted his head back with a smile. Mega Man managed to beam out just before the explosion tore his brother to bits and leveled the entire area. Proto Man stared at what had just happened.
That was...
Giggling happily, Vinyl booped the computer console next to the chair.
Did you like the show, little sister?
Bomb Man's voice came from the console.
Bob Man?
Proto Man asked in shock.
But you... All of us are remotely linked to the systems here.
Bomb Man explained.
When we are destroyed or shut down, our minds are saved to the hard drives to be placed in new bodies to serve Dr. Wily again. But you blew yourself up!
Proto Man pointed out.
I am a robot.
Bomb Man countered.
Or was. In truth, I am a program. I can be placed in a new body as many times as necessary, as long as I am salvaged, and to become one with destruction like that. I discovered an enlightened Zen state in that moment. It was beautiful.
Proto Man sat back, unsure what to think as Vinyl applauded the show, before babbling scolds at the console, apparently telling Bomb Man to put up more of a fight first before blowing himself up next time. And so concludes this chapter. It was a fun one. I loved doing Iceman, he was a real fun guy. But the Zen piece of Bomb Man was equally as enjoyable. I hope you all liked it, and if you did, subscribe, like, and that other stuff. And yeah. Bye!